In this video, we're going to go ahead and talk about minor scale creation and how we make them. Now, I will say that in this video, we will not go over modes, which modes are really the way that we explain where minor scales came from originally. One of the things that we ended up doing is that after we came up with our first scale, we started, like, let's say our major scale. Originally, we called it the Ionian mode. We started playing that major scale, but starting on different notes. So just imagine like C major, going C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, but playing that same scale, those same notes starting on D. So D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. Now again, the notes are the same, but all of a sudden it changes the way that it sounds. And they did that for every single note up until, starting from B and going B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Now, specifically, when they got to the sixth note, the A, that's where we end up getting what we now call natural minor. Back then it was called the Aeolian mode. It still is called the Aeolian mode, but that's originally where the minor scale comes from, is specifically that mode, and it ends up being used a lot in music. The other modes are used as well, but not nearly as much as the Ionian and Aeolian mode, which again ended up becoming our major scale and our minor scale. Now, with this one, we're going to go ahead and talk about how we create the minor scale, and then we're going to go ahead and use the worksheet in conjunction with this example as a way of practicing how to make these. Now, for me, there's always that first step, and it's the same thing with making chords and a lot of different things, but create a major scale. Again, I will always say that if you can create a major scale, you can find anything within music. But if you create the major scale, you have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, or F, G, A, B, C. Yeah, I did say that correctly. But after that, that's step one. So here we have like a C major scale with a whole, half, whole, half. After that, step two, all you do is, in order to get a minor scale, the easiest way to go ahead and do this is to lower the third, the sixth, and the seventh by a half step. And this will give you the natural minor scale. Again, the original way was to go to the sixth note and then, find a minor scale, like a minor scale. But again, that process is very tedious in terms of trying to find all of them. But this is the pattern that we eventually find, is that in order to get every minor scale, all you have to do is you lower the third, the sixth, and the seventh by a half step. So in this case, lowering by a half step means putting on flats. Now, step number three, we specifically have raising the seventh to make a harmonic minor scale. Now, a harmonic minor scale, and with minor scales, there are three different minor scales. There's the natural, harmonic, and then melodic minor scales. The reason why we have each of them are specifically because of this idea, which is called voice leading, which I won't delve into too deeply, but really what they decided is that with the natural minor scale, whenever they started creating songs with it, it didn't feel quite as finished, nor did it feel like the endings were strong, like very, very strong. So they weren't very strong endings. They kind of felt just kind of weak and almost unfinished. And so because of that, they created the harmonic minor scale. And part of the reason why is just because of the importance of keeping this half step here at the very, very end. That half step of T to Do is very, very important for us to be able to hear. And that really gives us that kind of finishing feeling. But in order to get a harmonic minor scale from a natural minor scale, all you have to do is you just raise the seventh. So here I've written in a natural sign. You could also just get rid of the natural sign and just keep it as a regular B. So that works just as well. Now, on the next one, we have step four, which we'll go ahead and teach you how to do the melodic minor scale. In order to do the melodic minor scale, the rule for the melodic minor scale is that when you go up, specifically, you raise the sixth and the seventh. So you'll notice that here the E is still flat, but the sixth and seventh notes, the A and the B, are natural. Again, you could have those naturals, you could also not have them. But with the melodic minor scale, the way that it works is that the second half is the natural minor scale descending. So whenever you come back down, it goes back to C, B flat, A flat, G, F, E flat, D, C. And again, the reason is the same. When going upwards, it's really, really interesting because oftentimes these natural notes, or sharp notes especially, have this tendency of really wanting to go up to the next note. They have this really, really nice forceful drive going up. And when we're going down, flats have that same thing. So going down, flats, of course, push us further and further down. And so because of that, that's why we have the 6th and the 7th. What's really, really nice is that, again, both of these are raised, and so it really gives us this nice upward momentum to try and finish to the top. The flats, again, come back when we're going down because, again, that allows for natural momentum of the sound and the melodies moving downward. Now, let's go ahead and get to the worksheet itself and try to make some of these. So one of the things that we have here is E flat natural minor is the first one that we're going to be working on. I'm going to go ahead and help out with the first one probably, and then the third one that's on here. But specifically with E flat natural minor, what we end up having is that we would start with E flat, and again, all we do is we start with that major scale. So a whole step would go to F, and I would pause at this point and do this on your own, but I'm going to go ahead and quickly go through this. But so E flat to F is a whole step, then we have a whole step to G, half step goes to A flat, then B flat, then C, D, and then E flat. Keep in mind, you'll notice that the flats are on the left side. Even though I say E flat, when we write out the flats in letter form, we put the flat afterwards because that's the way that we say it, E and then flat. But when we play it here on the music or write it on the music, it comes before the note because we need to be able to see that flat beforehand and not be surprised by it. Now, from there, what we have to do is again, that gives us E flat major. Now we have to lower the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th. So what we would end up doing here is that we would lower the 3rd to G flat. The 6th note would be the C, so it becomes C flat. And then we lower the 7th, which becomes D flat. And that gives you E flat natural minor. Now again, you can go ahead and pause for F melodic minor, but I'm gonna go ahead and go up and down. So again, going up, we're gonna go ahead and try and make the melodic minor scale. Coming down, we'll go ahead and make the natural minor scale. But again, let's start with F major first. So F major starts on F, then we go whole, whole, half to B flat, whole, 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 half. I'm gonna come back down. I don't have to write a B flat again because there was a flat back there. Make sure to give yourself enough room. Now, after that, let's go ahead and make natural minor. Or what we can do is that rather than making natural minor and having to erase everything, just think, okay, melodic minor going up, 6 and 7 go back to normal, right? So for melodic minor, really the only one that's lowered is the 3rd, which is the A flat. Then coming down, we have, again, we have natural minor. So what we would need to do is lower the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th. Now at this point, the 3rd is already lowered, so we don't have to rewrite it again, but coming down the 6th and the 7th, so the D and the E will require flats. Something to keep in mind and remember with accidentals is accidentals will always continue unless there's, of course, that measure line, which will erase them, or, of course, our naturals. If you wanted to go ahead and write all the flats going down, this is what it would end up looking like. You could rewrite the B flat and then the A flat here as well, if that is kind of easier on your conscience. But this has been specifically a video on minor scale creation. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. And again, if you have any questions, just leave your questions in the comments and I'll get right back to you. Thanks so much for joining me today.